set. Portland Pilots, University of Santa Barbara Gauchos. Here we go at Merlot Field as UCSB are going to start it calmly, but Jacob Babalai does anything but. He deflects it and then chests it down well on the right flank. Nava has it. Capable at any area in the final third, sends in a low cross. And there's an opening goal, just like that, second week in a row. The Pilots get on the board first. Buba Fofana. How about that, Ange?
And that's the start that we just talked about, exactly what Nick Carlin-Voigt in the response that he was looking for out of his team. And it cannot be overstated enough that Portland does so much work defending in their attacking third, picks up the ball off the pressure from Babalai, and then this is all Nava, creating, but Buba Fofana just slips in. Nobody really watching, paying attention for him, and he's just hanging off the shoulder of his defender. You got a couple Gaucho players there still not quite into the game, and can you blame them? We are not even 18 seconds into this match.
Buba Fofana, someone who's been with this program since 2021. A great vote of confidence to be inserted in the starting lineup. Second week in a row, got an assist last week, and there's his first goal of the season. It's his 8th goal in Portland Pilot colors. Your team giving up a goal just 15 seconds in, an important response coming from the Gauchos.
Has to be a big one here from them. Need to get a hold of the ball and just keep Portland. This is the pressure that Portland is going to apply to this back line. They feel like they can create some chances off pressuring that back line in Santa Barbara's defense, and Santa Barbara just has to calm themselves down right now.
Last year, UC Santa Barbara went 10 wins, 4 losses, and 6 draws. 4 wins, 4 draws, and a loss in conference. Eventually lost out on not making the tournament. They lost to #1 seed UC Riverside in the Big West Championship game last November. Not quite the Portland numbers, but they did outscore teams 35-20. Looking to score more on the 4 they put past fellow WCC side Pacific last week. First entry into the final third for Santa Barbara. Across, hovering near the penalty spot. That's a good header and a good save by Miguel Angel Hernandez for the first of the game.
And good response from UC Santa Barbara, getting themselves back into the game mentally, getting back in and getting a shot back on the Pilots within a minute of conceding.
Here comes Samori Powder going the other way. Lengthens his stride, tries to meg one defender. Powder still working on it and eventually cleared away by the far side corner flag. Fernandez tries a finesse ball into Nava. And a good striking run by Nemo Phillip. Phillip, a low ball inside. Angel Hernandez not coming out for that one from the 6. Eventually goes out for a corner. Excuse me, will be a goal kick.
And if that timing holds, 18 seconds for Buba Fofana, that will be the 2nd fastest goal in Portland history, surpassing Peter Kavanaugh. Peter Kavanaugh scored at 24 seconds against Hartford back in 1992. The fastest goal in Portland history, I actually remember this because I was at that game. Jeff Alexander against the University of Washington in 1999.
Good finish by Fofana as well. It wasn't a foregone conclusion that if he puts it on target, it's in. It had a little deflection, angles his foot wide open like a backboard in basketball and puts it into the left side netting.
Well, so often you hear coaches, especially at the younger level, just tell players when they're getting the ball off the cutback to put it back where they got it from, but there's so many players coming with their heads coming from that direction. The better play sometimes often is just to redirect it far post because people are still shifting across. It's still so hard to get your body there and get your body in front of the ball.
Bonilla chucks it into Babalai. Babalai has a hesitation. Shoots it over to Kunze. And dealt with by Leroy Zeller. Zeller, a 6'5" German, commands his line so well. 7th in clean sheets after just 2 years with Santa Barbara. Big West Keeper of the Year. The Pilots lost George Tassaris, who was one of the best in the WCC the last 2 years. And any surprise that Miguel Angel Hernandez was named the starting keeper for UP this year? Obviously brought in Cash Oladipo off a transfer, and Miguel Angel Hernandez was third string last year behind Tassarisa, of course. Also, Brandon Limes was with the team. But so far, a clean sheet first game, save so far early on, he's done well.
He's had a really good start to the season so far, and a lot of that goes into the work that he does in the offseason. Last spring, Tassarisa is not playing with the team last spring after he graduates, so you know that Hernandez had a lot of opportunity to get reps, to train, and put himself into the best position possible to win this starting spot come August of this year.
That's a job that's been won over 6 months, not just in the last couple of weeks. Good link-up play by UCSD. Chance, the back heel doesn't register, and safe play by Kevin Bonilla to send it out for a corner kick.
So get a good look there at Hernandez, immediately getting his players in, keyed in, telling them right there, we got to make sure we're staying sharp, boys. We're keeping our mental game tough. First out, get the head on the ball.
The Frenchman, Alexis Ledoux, to take the in-swinging corner kick with his right foot. Nava protecting the back post with Nick Fernandez. The short option comes. It goes back to Ledoux. Ledoux, a looping cross that has too much on it and not able to be kept in play by Nalu Mack. Running through this roster, Ange, of UCSB, all from either California or international players. An interesting but seemingly more popular approach nowadays from Tim Von Steeg. He's won with every kind of combination possible, being the coach of this side since 1999.
Yeah, Vom Steeg really has done, as we mentioned in the Open, a good job of setting up and recruiting players into a style of play, how he wants. Now, of course, that's evolved over the last 25 years. You don't stay a perennial powerhouse by doing the same thing you did 25 years ago. So he's really worked to bring in players to help evolve the style of play, push these players into positions where they can become professionals, go on and continue to excel in this sport based on how they develop here in his program.
Foul by Jacob Babalai, overly aggressive, goes through the back of a UCSB defender. And while the number 6 team in the country, it's almost a retool of sorts for the University of Portland as well. They lost 30 of their 51 goals from last year were from players who graduated or moved on for the program. Most notably, of course, Brendan Cambridge, Delence Pierre. Kind of the spine of the team is different from last year, but plenty of young talent. When you see recruiting classes being in top 10 over and over and over again for Nick Carlin Voigt, it's going to manifest in talented young players.
Absolutely, and when I was prepping for the game last week against Sac State and going through my notes, trying to just get ready for the season, I thought about all the players that they lose. Hugely talented players, highly impactful players for the Pilots, but when you look at the players on the pitch...
As Villeda sends the ball into the box, it's still loose and almost cleared away by Kevin Bonilla. Takes an extra touch to try to hit the pass out to Fofana, but out of play.
When you look at the players on the pitch right now, Samori Powder is the only newcomer on the pitch. These are all returning starters or returning players that have, even when you look at Yepa, who was in and out of the lineup last year, Kansa in and out of the lineup last year, almost returning, Hernandez in the back line. You've got a wealth of players that have got a large depth of experience, even though they weren't starters. They played a lot of significant minutes last year. So, Nick Carlin Voigt coming in, he's not really, looking at it as replacing starters. He's just elevating players into positions that they've been training and developing for the last couple seasons.
Good defensive work by Fofana to stick in a right toe and win the ball back. Nick Fernandez, calm as ever on the ball, tries to play it through to Fofana. But the long legs of Timon Windisch will get there first. 6'5" senior from Freiburg, Germany. He's one of 2 to play all 180 minutes this year. Joined from Lander University. That's another route that Vom Steeg has went, is the junior college Division II routes, picking up talented players from those ranks. Sebastian Hernandez beat out Ledoux, leaves it off, shooting chance, good save again by Miguel Angel Hernandez. Those are 2-on-1 steaming out of absolutely nothing.
And Nemo Phillip really following in that play very well for the Gauchos and making it so easy for Hernandez just to lay that ball back off. Ledoux laying that ball back off, and just tease it up for Phillip, but given how Portland's backs were positioned there, Hernandez right there split the difference. Not a lot of options for him to go other than just belting it right down, splitting the difference between the center backs.
Nemo Phillip, 3 goals, 3 assists last year. It was a starter in the opener against Oral Roberts, which was a 4-0 loss. That last game against Pacific, he came on as a sub, still played 50 minutes and had an assist in the contest, which was a 4-2 win. Oliver Yippa barges in to a Gaucho player.
Comes in late, and you can see that our center official there, Eunice Marquehi, is not having it tonight. Just some pretty stern words there, letting him know he's not going to let this match get out of control. We just see Hernandez, our player to watch. Yippa just comes right through him there, and not really sure why Yippa's complaining, because he definitely, as you said, barged right through Hernandez.
Yippa, WCC all-freshman last year. Didn't start the first game, but he's someone that adds defensive solidity to the midfield 3. Nick Fernandez and Sebastian Nava, the midfielders pushed in front of him. Ledoux tiptoes to keep it inside the end line. Headed away, only momentarily. A wind-up curl shot and sent for the stanchions by Jorge Aldana, the fullback. His 40th career game with the Gauchos. Aldana, a senior from San Rafael, California. He's only played 24 minutes in the 2 games so far this year. They were all in 1 game off the bench against Pacific last week. Early in the season, Ange, I want to get your thoughts on this. How much rotation are you really putting in to see what your side is? Because for the Pilots, it's pretty consistent from last week. 1 change, of course, Yippa coming in. But for UC Santa Barbara, they've experimented a lot in those first 2 games. A part of that maybe they lost the first game 4-0, yes, but are you trying to solidify something or see what you got in those non-conference contests?
Well, I think it just depends on what you have returning and what you're trying to do. You know, UC Santa Barbara, a different approach. They've played 22 of their 32 players so far this season, and 8 of their new players, 8 out of 10 of their new players have gotten on the field. So I think, you know, really what you're seeing Vom Steeg here is just trying to put some players in there, see what's going to work best. It looks like he does have a pretty preferred lineup, a core of players, but you really want to rotate some players in there, get them significant early minutes, because when you have to call on them later on in the season in the Big West, you want to make sure that you're calling on players with confidence and experience that have been put in tough games like this one, so that they're not nervous, they're ready to go, they're confident when it comes time for conference.
Powder gets ganged up on by a few UCSB players in the corner, loses out on the ball after the through ball from Nava. Now the Gauchos going the other way, one end to the other. Villeda gets his cross blocked. Bua Fofana, obviously the goal early on. Strong defensive work as well. And I guess you need your wingers to be defensive as well when you have 2 attacking midfielders with the likes of Nick Fernandez and Sebastian Nava.
Well, this is where we talked about, you know, Kevin Bonilla right now helping out Yippa here on the cover, but this is where his ability to get up and down the field and as I said in the open, pick and choose those moments to go becomes critical, because he almost acts, and you'll see him at points of this game, a 4th forward for Portland with how far up the field he gets and what he creates in the Pilots attacking third.
Sun shining bright on Merlo Field, a place they have not lost in 707 days. They've truly made this place a fortress. Didn't lose for the entirety of last year. And now that we're in September, Ange, it's been 2 years to the month that Portland has last lost at home. Plenty of time left in this one. Only 12.5 minutes into the contest. So cross comes in from the far side, aiming for the back post with Phillip Nemo. Instead of shooting, he lays it off over the head of Fofana. It's going to be a whistle on the foul. Like a hand.
Get another look at this ball in there from Ledoux.
Yep.
And just grazes there coming out.
Bonilla strikes it up the line to Fofana, battling well with Villeda. Everything clean between the 2. Lucas Gonzalez drifts out wide. The number 10 for the Gauchos. Picked to finish 1st in the Big West, finished 2nd last year. Akin to the Portland Pilots, who are picked to finish 1st in their WCC conference this year, finished 2nd last year. Nick Fernandez drifts past a couple, over to Nava. This is good by the Pilots, but the pass by Yeppa is behind Bonilla, so momentum halts momentarily. Good speed by the Texas native Bonilla to get there. Fernandez, lovely touch, plays it through to Babalai. If Babalai's onside, he's through, and there is going to be a foul beforehand.
It's the offside.
Offside indeed. Also looked like Nick Fernandez was dragged down by Timon Windish. And Windish will go into the book for the first yellow card of the game.
It looks like what happened is that the referee was playing as we get a great ball, another great ball looking here from Bonilla. Babalai's offside here. This is what the referee, you see him right there calling the play on. Linesman though calls offside. That's what the play was stopped for, was offside, and that's when the center referee brings it back for the foul after he initially called advantage to see what developed.
Or maybe some shortcomings of Portland in that first game against Sacramento State, because I was watching at home on ESPN Plus while the final scoreline said 3-0. It was 1-0 for most of the match, and there were some points early on in that second half where it was getting a little bit nervy. What can they maybe improve on from the first game?
Well, I think, again, we've talked about Portland, fast start last week, fast start this week, but what ends up happening is that then they sit back, they've got a good early goal, and then they, for whatever reason, stop being the aggressor. They sit back and absorb the attack of the other team, and then they end up sitting back and absorbing a bit too much and not redirecting it back out onto the pitch into the attack.
15 minutes in. Portland doing some of the absorbing right now. Yeppa plays it back. Jose Olmos, who got clipped. Back with Villeda, who's been most common on the ball for the Gauchos. Philip Nemo. And a strong challenge by Nick Fernandez. And will he earn his way into the book after just drawing one?
Absolutely.
He does.
And I think, you know, our center official, Marikehi, is doing a good job from the start of getting this game under control. It's so easy for these men's matches to spiral out. A lot of late challenges, late hits, and we'll get a look here as Fernandez just comes in and clips him. Again, no reason for Fernandez to do that, and other than just to kind of show who's boss in the midfield right there. And I think the center official's right to try to get the game under control, hit some early yellow cards, and put everybody on notice. We want to see some soccer out here. Don't want to see anybody going off with injury on late hits.
And Jermaine, you certainly saw some chippy University of Portland games last year, and I think 95% of the time we loved what we were seeing on Merlo Field. Some of those games, not as much.
Yeah.
Donqua, who's the one who earned the yellow card, resumes play, goes towards the back post. Athletic play by the tall Jacob Babalai. If there's one thing Portland are lacking against this UCSB side is height. Going through making my charts for the Gauchos, nearly every player is over 6 foot, especially those in the attack and the back line.
That's so helpful when you have a player like Ledoux just there who can serve the ball in so well. He was going right up there. Babalai, I think, used every inch plus his cleats, the height of his cleats, to get him up in the air and win that.
Play back to Windish. Utsumi taking his time on the ball. Japanese center back. At El Camino College, where he played and started all 22 games last year and all 21 games as a freshman the year before that. Alongside Windish, he's the only other player to play all 188 minutes. Outfield player, I should mention. Leroy Zellers hit that quota. So with Powder on the right wing, left wing, takes it inside the 18, has two on him again, by the byline, in a dangerous spot still. Sebastian Nava ends up on the deck. Not out of danger yet as Fofana is going to be charged with the foul.
I think he just comes in and undercuts. Villeda there. But Samori Powder has been so fun to watch in his first two games. Does so well to get to the end line here, cuts it back, and Babalai just is able to keep it through, but Nava just cannot quite connect on it there. And as this ball redirects there, you're just going to see Fofana just undercuts Villeda there.
Fofana unfortunately still down. Speaking of Samori Powder, his winger compatriot had 5 shots, led the game against Sacramento State. A goal in the 66th minute when they were under pressure.
We'll get a look at the foul here. You just see him go undercut there. Valeda comes over the top of Fofana, and you see Fofana going in. You want to see him jump up for that ball and challenge for it. When he kind of stands his ground and kind of leans his hips and shoulders towards the opposing player, that's where he's getting the foul called on him, unfortunately.
Not fair to compare the new to the old, especially when the old went 15-3-3. Identity-wise, it's a 4-3-3 again for University of Portland, and Nick Carlin-Voigt. It's probably not going to change much if it ain't broke, but what are the differences about the 2023 University of Portland Pilots compared to the 2022?
Well, I think it's the soccer IQ, because so many teams will line up in these formations. A 4-3-3. UC Santa Barbara, for all intents and purposes, is playing a 4-4-2, but it's really a 4-1-3-2. It's the evolution of how you approach formations. You're going to attack in one formation, defend in another formation, and it's the ease at which players can transition in and out of those different formations, because when the Gauchos are going forward, they're throwing 4 players up top. It's Goling, Ledoux, Phillip, and Dankwa, and Hernandez also coming in as a 5th player in that attacking line. So it's really that hybrid approach of the formation that you're going to attack from and the formation you're going to defend out of, and how players can seamlessly transition in and out of those places as they win and lose the ball.
Sebastian Nava clamoring for a handball. Anulu Mack isn't going to get it. Here's Gonzalez, a chipper across to Utsumi. Utsumi trying to break the lines past the midfield. Nick Fernandez there first, the Downers Grove, Illinois native.
I think the TV just caught the sun finally dipping down behind the West Hills. The temperature in the press box just dropped 15 degrees.
It was a sauna in here pregame, Ange. We're doing a little bit better now.
Another beautiful shot of Merlot Field here on the University of Portland campus.
How long have students been on campus now?
A week. They had a move-in last week. Last week's home opener for both the men and the women's happened on move-in weekend, so Thursday, Friday.
The other major universities in Oregon still got a month to go, and UP's on campus, and great when it comes to soccer. As Clive's Army filled up, you can hear him banging on the stanchions. Villeda plays it back to Vindish. Back with Leroy Zeller. Zeller in his 3rd season as a starter, hasn't missed a game since joining.
Right now, we're just about 20 minutes into the match. Both coaches have their whole benches down warming up. This is pretty typical, though. You'll see teams go down, warm up about 15 minutes in the match. But right now, no coach is really looking to make a move off the bench, really trying to see how this game continues to unfold for both sides, as Portland with the early strike, but UC Santa Barbara with the better part of the attack over the last 20 minutes.
Bonilla side shuffles, winds up a pass. As the Nick Fernandez, who gets challenged hard. Hopefully he's okay, because that was straight ankle, and it will be a yellow card. The 2nd drawn by Nick Fernandez.
That caution looks to be going to Aldana for the Gauchos.
He's the right back for UCSB. 3 yellow cards, 20 minutes in.
See Bonilla again, another key player, key pass here to Fernandez. Takes a good touch, and yeah, it's Aldana just coming in late and coming right through the feet of Fernandez. And Yunus Marquez not having any of it, just going straight to his pocket, not even going to have a conversation at this point.
I don't think Aldana really had a case to make either. Nick Fernandez got the start, a shot, and an assist for the final goal against Sacramento State last weekend. Such a talented midfielder. With Jake Arteaga gone, he's going to have to pull the strings even more from not necessarily number 10 position, but more of that number 8 in the center of the park. One sub getting ready for the Gauchos. Dominic Fanko. I take it back. There's one player from the States that isn't from California. It is Fanko. He's from Odessa, Florida. Similar climate.
Well,
Samori Powder winds up a shot. It goes off the post.
don't forget Ethan Center from Hawaii on the Gauchos roster.
Samori Powder out of nothing winds up quite the cannon.
And This is what I like about the diversity in Portland's attack right now. What we've seen a lot, especially with Bonilla and Sebastian Nava, is getting to the end line, cutting it across, and really trying to create opportunities out of the chaos that comes with those short cutbacks. But I really like Samori Powder on that left wing, able to dribble, get his head up, and while he likes to go to the end line, he has no problem cutting it in and ripping a shot from 20 or 30 yards out.
Fofana not on the same wavelength as Jacob Babalai. UCSB under pressure, but build out well amongst the near side. Ledoux working on Bonilla. Yepo comes to help out. Back to Ledoux. Left side of the box, almost to Philip Nemo, who extended his right leg. Maybe could have had a touch. Plays it through instead. Villeda fighting hard. And it goes out of play. It's going to be Pilot's ball. Plenty of talent on both benches for the Pilots. Muslim Umar, who started last game, was one of the most exciting young wingers in the WCC last year. While he didn't start for the majority of the season, he came on late, started in the tournament match against Pittsburgh. Someone that Nick Carlin-Voigt is certainly has his eye on as someone who can be a key contributor to this program for years to come.
Well, again, such a diverse player in terms of where you can play. Plays wide forward in that winger position, gets out wide, gets inside, but last week against Sac State actually started in the center of the field for Nick Carlin-Voigt in an attacking center mid role, really driving up, hitting that gap. It was between Powder and Babalai, but really hitting that gap because Powder stretched the back line so well, he was able to just kind of run right through the middle of them and create a lot of different opportunities for Portland just from that deep run out of the midfield.
UCSB resetting things. They recycle it out to Aldana, the fullback. Utsumi. Vindish does a quick turn and a spark pass back to Utsumi. Hops across the halfway line a few times as the Pilots have cooled their pressure. Villeda to Ledoux. Ledoux goes to the back of Bonilla, and that's going to be an easy foul. Kevin Bonilla had the clean sheet, 2 assists last week against Sacramento State. So we mentioned in the pregame, top drawer soccer team of the week, and that's one of many accolades he's had since starting his career here at Merlo Field. Just a few weeks ago, named the WCC soccer preseason team. All-region 3rd team in 2021, all-WCC 2nd team in 2022. Had a great goal for CSU Bakersfield last September. He's up just 1 away from double-digit assists in his career. "22 minutes left to go. The first period of soccer at Merlo Field. Crossed by the penalty spot. Ledoux fighting for it. Philip Nemo gets blocked by Bonilla on the ground. Second chance still alive, and it goes out for a corner kick. Speak of the devil, there's Kevin Bonilla again.
I think Bonilla had actually slipped and gone to ground, and that ball, he was in the right place at the right time and went off his rib cage, blocking that shot. But tremendous work here from the Gauchos, and see Fernandez just can't quite make anything out of it. Not a great clearance there, but Bonilla comes in, is able to block that shot, gets his hands behind him, and then ends up ultimately seeing it out for a corner.
Out goes David Donqua. In comes Fanko for UCSB. What can the speed of Buba Fofana do? Can he be a one-man counter? He chops past one, still fighting for on the line and still has it. Wow, Buba Fofana doesn't have much in support, but he's doing it all himself right now. Does the same move again, gets past another. And he can only go so far, but takes it from final third to final third.
Saw him get his head up and get a bit frustrated, not all of his teammates up attacking with him as he just burst out of that backfield on a great attack there, and then ultimately the wall pass off the Gaucho shin to Babalai doesn't come off.
Jose Olmos and Sebastian Hernandez, 2 names we haven't said of much today, and that's probably for the better if you're a center back. Usually when you're getting your name hollered, it's if you're making a mistake, and they've been steady so far. One thing could be an issue later on. They're both 5'10". We talked about the height that UCSB possess.
Right now, Portland playing these long speculative balls out of the back line. Really hard for Babalai, for Fofana, for Powder to get a hold of and play back, looking for Fernandez and Nava, because often those two are almost running past them, looking for that ball coming through, but they need somebody to play the way they're facing, play back into the midfield, and nothing coming up in behind them at the moment for Portland.
A sweet ball by Lucas Gonzalez and a smart play by Julian Kunsa just to send it high. If Kunsa's not there, there's a play at the back post.
It's a great ball from our player to watch, Lucas Hernandez, and wonderful defending from Portland, because it was Ledoux right there ready to make something of it if he could.
Going to be Lucas Gonzalez at the far side corner. A party inside the box. Many just outside the 6. That's where the ball lands as well. Dealt with by Sebastian Hernandez, headed back inside the 18. And is it going to go out for another corner? It is.
Hernandez has got to get his guys back and on the ball right now. Portland still talking to the referee, looking for a foul, but Hernandez has to get, as the goalkeeper's got to get his team back in and engaged in defending this ball.
Ball this time is inside the 6. Can Fofana dispossess again? He does of sorts, this time with a block. And it's going to be Philip Nemo who catches Julian Kunsa, but advantage is played. And here are numbers for the Pilots as it's a 3-on-3, but a silly play by Jacob Babalai as he clubs down a player on the break. Down goes Utsumi, the center back. He was way behind the play.
And I agree, it was a silly play because Kevin Bonilla released Fofana there, and Kevin Bonilla was not going to let Buba Fofana have another run by himself and was in on goal. And Babalai, as he's running past the player, fouls him. The play's 20 yards ahead of him, but he fouls the player, and that's what's ultimately going to draw the foul.
Yeah, you probably couldn't see it on initial look.
Fofana, this is Bonilla, releases Fofana here, gets up there, and you can see Babalai right there, just in a little tussle with Hernandez, and ultimately shoves him to the ground to run by him. Babalai not happy, but you got to let that go.
Yeah, if you're going to get away with that, it's probably not going to be 2 feet in front of the referee as well. Nicholas Williamson is getting ready to come in for UCSB. Still no subs for the Pilots with 18.5 minutes to go in the first half of play.
And to his credit, head coach Nick Carlin-Voigt not really up protesting that call. I think he's more frustrated that Portland let that go, but not in the official's ear. I think he saw exactly what happened also, and not much he can do there.
Sparks igniting nonetheless for the Pilots off of countering corners. We saw the Buba Fofana run, which was mostly solo, still made it just outside the opposition box, and that one was a 3-on-3 break if they were smart. Bodies collide, no foul. Here's Ledoux again. He's shifted from out left to out right, splits the defenders, but Julian Kunsa has good insurance to get back. Nava off the chest of one. UCSB still in possession. Simple passes, but it's been effective. They've settled into this game a little bit better after a disastrous first 20 seconds.
Yeah, obviously not the start that any team wants in that situation, to go down a goal 18 seconds in, but they have reacted terrifically. It was what we were looking for, that mental response for them to really take a hold of this first half and have won the possession battle right now. But Portland doing a great job defending has really left UC Santa Barbara nothing to show for all of the possession that they've had over the last 20 or so minutes, 25 minutes.
Bonilla has Babalai as an option, fakes the pass outright, shifts his shoulders left, and finds Kunsa. From fullback to striker to fullback, fluid soccer by the Pilots. Here's the 6'2" Kunsa, gives it to his fellow European Yipa. Yipa, WCC all-freshman, trying to beat WCC first team period this year. Nava, who got that honor a season prior, gives it over to Bonilla, and off the back for a corner kick.
Portland much better ball movement there, so quick side to side, and that's what they need in order to keep it. Portland right now has been so direct in kind of the vertical lanes going forward, nothing really coming across the field horizontal to pull this Gaucho team apart, and there you saw some quick movement getting the ball from one sideline in front of the student section all the way over to Bonilla, and now they've earned a corner, another opportunity to shoot.
Near side corner coming, a bit of a different look inside the 18 that Portland is showing on attack compared to what UCSB was showing. With the orchestra of Clive's Army, Julian Kunze fired it in, but it goes out for a corner in the same spot. A slew of Portland subs, as you can see on your screen, staring down Kunze. Pressure on this corner. This one better than the last, cleared away right in front of Leroy Zeller. Bonilla putting it back in the area. Nick Fernandez gives a shove as well. Here's Kunze on his less favorite side, has an overlapping run with his fellow fullback Kevin Bonilla. Bonilla wearing the captain's armband gives it inside, and Fofana has a good turn by the end line, plays it inside and cleared by Utsumi. Utsumi's been there when it's mattered.
We'll get another look. Again, great insightful play from Bonilla, plays it in, drags Hernandez with him, allows Fofana just to get down there. Fofana gets around Vindish there, but his cross swept away by Utsumi. Great work there from the Gauchos in defending. A great attack from the Pilots.
Two attacking options coming in for UCSB. It's going to be Nicholas Williamson, a sophomore from Denmark, a transfer from Xavier, where he scored 3 goals last year, playing every game, about half as a starter. The game-winning goal against Villanova. He started the season opener, played 66 minutes off the bench against Pacific, still looking for his first goal for his new side. Triangle is being created by the Gauchos, and this time they scrap the shape and go diagonal. 13.5 minutes to go, nearly on frame with the cross, but almost on the leg of new sub Salvador Aguiar, the 6'2" junior striker.
And just a phenomenal ball from Mikael Goling across the field, gets Portland going all the way, shifting over to the sideline, and within 2 passes they were back in on Portland's goal, and again keyed by just a lovely driven ball from Goling out to the far sideline.
Mikael Goling, one of many internationals. He's from Copenhagen, Denmark. Stands at 6'3", started both of the first 2 games. 3 shots, 118 minutes between the 2 games total. He's one of the best players in Division II soccer last year at Young Harris College. Here is Goling. Ball rolls a few times, winds up his leg. And Miguel Angel Hernandez chests it down, has the pickup option if he wants it. Instead, dribbles it across his 6 once, lets a few get closer, and then ultimately does pick it up. Game of cat and mouse.
Goalkeeper, that stuff makes me nervous.
Kunze. Both fullbacks have been hugging the touchline so much in a lot of modern soccer teams. You see inverted fullbacks. Nick Carlin likes to use his width. It's been a key factor so far, especially last game. You think about Bonilla, how he grabbed both of his assists from really out wide.
But what Sac State did a great job, and you've seen it a little bit here tonight. Hernandez has drawn the marking assignment at times against Bonilla, and this is where Portland got frustrated last week against Sac State, is how well they're able to pin Bonilla back, as we see Hernandez's pass just collected easily by Olmos, but Kunze right there coming down under the pressure of Dominic Fonco. But Bonilla's been pinned back at times and not allowed to go forward just through the sheer numbers in attack that the opposition have thrown at Portland. So sometimes the best defense is attacking when you're a team playing against Portland, keeping Kevin Bonilla in the back line and limiting his options going forward simply by throwing more numbers at the Portland back line.
It's going to be something to look at all season long with Bonilla. How much is he forced back inside of his own half? Lucas Gonzalez popped up. Bonilla cleared it once, but may have made a contact with someone's head if he cleared it the first time, so has to hesitate and then eventually clear it away. And now subs coming in.
I cannot believe that Hernandez got that ball up over the defender sitting in front of him, just trying to create something in front of goal for his teammates. That was a great bit of play there.
Fofana, the goal scorer, exits the game. In comes Nicholas Dunbar, a freshman from Long Beach, California, in the LA Galaxy Academy. Philip Basili, a bit of a different profile than the true freshman Dunbar, a sophomore from Norway, 6'2". He's a sub in both games, played 42 minutes against Oral Roberts and 18 minutes against Pacific last week. Last season was a starter in half of the 20 games, had an assist. Someone who's a box-to-box midfielder and is very comfortable on the ball. Look for him to control the pace in these final 10 minutes of the first half. Nava has probably been the one midfielder that's been the most quiet so far. He's got an elite mix of everything. Inside the box. Back out to Lucas Gonzalez. Cross. Doesn't meet anybody. And a white kit. Now Lou Mack. Zero to Utsumi. Aldana. Central. And it's going to be a good set piece chance, maybe an inch too far to shoot, but certainly with the big bodies UCSB possess, this could be dangerous.
And with Goaling out, somebody who's we just saw strike some really good driven balls, it's going to be Hernandez on the ball for the Gauchos. Likely here.
Miguel Angel Hernandez instructing his wall of two. It's going to be clipped inside, noggin to it, but doesn't threaten piercing the back of the net.
And again, another good ball in from Hernandez, and it's Mack that just can't quite get enough on it, but you see it just redirects over the crossbar. Portland, a swarm of bodies around Mack, and if you're not going to be able to win that ball, you're going to make it really, really hard for him to at least pull that ball down or direct the ball down to any kind of danger.
Henrique Bueno getting ready to come in, a Brazilian attacker for Santa Barbara, as Nick Fernandez gets taken down heavy again. I'm surprised there's no yellow card for that one. It matches the precedent of the previous. Fernandez still down, unfortunately.
You can see the AR2 happened right in front of the AR2, and you've got the referee that was also right there. So clearly a foul, but whatever those two saw out of the play at that moment, you can see him communicating into the fourth official there. He's trying to adjust his earpiece.
I think if you can read lips a little bit of Nick Carlin-Voigt, he said that's 3 times that Nick Fernandez has ended up harshly.
And 2 of those times, the opposition player did draw a yellow card. As we see this ball out, and Konsa into Hernandez, and it's just, yeah, that one right clips Fernandez, excuse me, and
it was a little higher up as well, around the shin area.
Interesting to see, understand potentially what our center official saw there, because he has been so good about going to his pocket tonight and giving cautions where they are deserved.
Fernandez tries the turn. Not able to get past, and it's going to be a goal kick to the confusion of Nick Fernandez. Fernandez, who is on a yellow in his own right, so while he can be fired up, he also has to be smart here.
Absolutely. I think you just see right there, that's another good play, another good look at it, where Fernandez player comes in, but Fernandez gets his toe to it, and that's what ends up going out of bounds.
Fernandez, one of 4 pilots on the WCC all preseason team. He was WCC first team last year. His first year in 2020. He was WCC second team as a true freshman. And if you're completing that feat, you're definitely on the WCC all freshman team as well. Unfortunately, had to sit out 2021 with the leg injury, but came back last year with the bang, scoring a goal in his first game back. He's someone that's as talented as any midfielder on the West Coast. Pair him with Nava in the midfield, and pick whatever you want as the third. Those two are going to be engines. Here is Fernandez. Tricky on the ball, gives it over to Kunsa. It's a bit more industrial, but it goes out for a throw in. Kunsa to Babalai. Babalai smartly takes a few extra touches, picks his head up, and finds Sebastian Nava. Dunmar to his right. Instead, finds Bonilla. Drifts inside from his fullback role. Back to Nava. Nava lowers a shoulder. Hesitates once. Gives it over to Jose Olmos. Olmos played just 2 matches last year. Has been a key cog this year. There it is. It's going to be offsides, though.
And it's the pass from Hernandez into Ennen. Ennen subbed on just a few moments ago. Had just a lovely play from Portland, but as you see right here, almost plays this ball in to Fernandez, and right there, Tim, Ennen just about a half a step offside. What a finish from him, though. Unfortunate not to have that one double the Pilots' lead. Great look from our broadcast team right there, right on the line to see that.
Saw the flag go up right away. Wasn't sure if the near side official saw a foul, but it was, of course, offsides in the end. Nava swims past one. Gives it over to Bonilla. This is better from the Pilots with 5.5 minutes to go. Babalai attacks the ball. Is that going to be a corner or a goal kick? Goal kick.
Babalai, watch Babalai play as we watched Yepa just play this ball wide. Here's Bonilla now up into the attack, and again, usually when Portland's creating something good, he is up in and around the play. There's Babalai, just can't quite get that one down and away. He's just past the near post. Very difficult to keep that one going past him, but Babalai expected to carry that shoulder, that scoring burden vacated by Brandon Cambridge. Was a great player for the Pilots last year when Cambridge was the guy who was scoring all the goals and ultimately double and triple teamed later in the season. That freed up so much space for Babalai to come in and score some critical goals for Portland. And this year now he's slipped into that role for Portland, being the guy. And ultimately, so far, it's proven good for other players as it's freed them up to finish some scoring chances as he's created and made space for them and drawing the defense.
Corner coming the other way as substitutes are gearing up for the final 4 minutes of the half. Nick Carlin-Voigt going deep into his bench.
Substitution for the Pilots. Number 14, Timothy Innan. And number 32, Michael Hatcher on.
Michael Hatcher, tall defender from Everett, Washington, coming on. Also Timothy Innan, a grad transfer from Northeastern and the New England Revolution Academy. Out goes Nava and Babalai, a quick little breather.
Apologies, that was Umar who got in around the corner a couple moments ago.
Cleared away by Nick Fernandez.
And Ennen now on the field for Portland.
Kenny Villatoro, also a sub on. In these latter 10 minutes, there's so many substitutions for both sides. You got to make sure you're on them. You look down to see who came in, and another came in before that.
Well, and from across the field, 11 and 14, that one digit just looks... I am wearing glasses, but man, I got to get some new ones apparently.
Bonilla has Hatcher of all people in front of him. Yepa. Takes his time inside the center circle with under 3 to go. Jose Olmos gives it to Nick Fernandez.
Carlin Voigt going with an extreme attacking front here. 1, 2, 3, 4 players leading the line for Portland, with Ennin just in behind in that midfield role vacated by Nava. Trying to see if they can double their lead before halftime.
Looking menacing here to Bonilla. Hatcher, the tallest pilot on the pitch right now. Bonilla splits 2, somehow plays it across. Wow, what a play by Bonilla.
Such a phenomenal talent, Bonilla.
Aguiar. Yipa comes in support. She's supplemented the defense so many times. Wherever the attack looks dangerous, that's where Yipa wants to be, and he's done it so far. Mack. And for Villeda. Villeda working on Dunbar. A true freshman from Southern California, trying to do it against the California side. Curled and cleared away. Actually stays nearly in play, and then a quick throw and resumes it by Vindish. Hatcher goes to shut down Vindish. There's Utsumi. Outright. UCSB, 70 seconds to play. Muslim Umar shrugs off one, but the second is going to be too much, and it's going to be a foul. WCC all-freshman team in 2022. Just starter in game 1 against Sac State. While not a starter in this one, usually puts up that minutes, even if he isn't in the starting 11.
Umar, I mean, when you're looking at how Portland lined up in this game, and you can bring Muslim Umar off the bench to provide another wave of relentless attack against this Gauchos team. And it's really when Umar came in, Portland started to get in and attack a little bit more. And now, just as they've closed out the minutes here, you see Tim Ennin chasing that ball right there in the center of the pitch. Another important player that Portland added to their roster this year. I watched him play in preseason against Seattle U. Hugely impressed with Ennin. I think he's going to score some big goals for the Pilots this year.
Certainly got collegiate experience. We'll touch on that in a second as UCSB can't get past Bonilla. Bonilla gets shoved from behind, and that will likely run out the clock for the first half. But the lone goal by Buba Fofana under 20 seconds into this game. We barely had a time to breathe, and the Pilots were already up 1-0. Since then, a pretty even game, though, Ange, even with the lone goal to start.
And it was, as we said at the beginning, it's going to be a fun game to watch. It's really been interesting to watch both coaches, how they've lined up their team against each other tonight, and then the changes that they've made throughout, both to the personnel on the team and on the field, and how they've approached and retooled just their attack and defense in response to what each other's doing. It's been a lot of fun to watch tonight so far.
We're going to take a break here on ESPN+, but when we come back, we'll get you highlights and stats from this first half of action. I'm Adam Sussenborn, joined by Ange Harrison. A second 45 of action still to come. Stay tuned for Merlot Field. It's going to be a fun one. 1-0, the current scoreline between the Pilots and the Gauchos.
I love the fact that higher education can be transformative. It can change someone's trajectory of their life. So it's my hope that the University of Portland, we are the transformative Catholic university in the West Coast. I was born and raised in the great state of New Jersey. I'm the youngest person in my family. I have some amazing parents who have sacrificed a lot to provide an education for me and my brother. You know, we grew up knowing you're going to get your education, you're going to go to church, and anything is possible as you go forward in your life. My name is Rob Kelly, and I am the president of the University of Portland.
We were simply thrilled when Dr. Kelly accepted the opportunity to come to the University of Portland. We spent hours, weeks, months discerning this important decision, and he was exactly what this university needs moving forward.
Nice to see you.
I think you've already seen that on campus already. Dr. Kelly's everywhere. He's ubiquitous. He's energetic. I think he's a tremendous role model. His experience in higher education at this university and other universities will serve him so very well. There's no one more prepared to lead this university into its next great chapter here on the Bluff.
This is my first day with lots of students on campus in a physical format. The students are back, and this is the beginning of it. It's like Christmas morning.
Clearly a person that was able to build connections and relationships with people. His prior experiences, it was very intentional that Rob was preparing himself to one day hopefully have the opportunity to lead a Catholic university, and I'm grateful that he chose us as much as we chose him.
I've been so blessed to know him for over 24 years, and one of the very first conversations we had, we found out we both loved higher ed, and he talked about, I want to be a college president one day. And it really struck me because my father was a college president, and so I saw a lot of similarities in somebody that I, greatly admire and love more than anything. He is like the cheerleader for our family.
My children, Alex and Addison, first they ground me completely. They give all of this work that I'm doing and everything meaning.
To be such a collaborator, communicator, and somebody that really deeply believes in justice, it seemed like those were the things that he just naturally is.
I have been extremely blessed to have different people in my life. People like Sister Frances, she was my 4th grade school teacher. I remember those little lessons that she taught us, and I bring that with me into the work that I do now.
Welcome to all of you.
My message to students would be that they're loved. We want to walk with them and accompany them as they go off and do amazing things in the world. And we're always going to be there. It's about community, and we're going to help them to get connected as we go forward in life.
Welcome home, and go Pilots.
Welcome back to lovely Merlo Field, where the Portland Pilots lead University of Santa Barbara Gauchos 1-0, courtesy of a goal just 17 seconds to be exactly into this one. And obviously a quick start, can't do much better than that. But after that, a pretty even ball game afterwards.
Yeah, the Gauchos really settled into the game and started to dominate possession for the most part throughout the half. Ended up fairly even in terms of possession, but Gauchos getting 6 shots to Portland's 2 and really started to take it to them throughout the game. So despite an early setback, UC Santa Barbara didn't let that get them down and really started to try to do whatever they could to get back at the Pilots. But take a look at the first goal here. Here's Sebastian Nava just getting down in the end line. Great ball in, and Fofana just redirects it right into that far side netting and collects another goal for him. But Nava, look at this. Just a wall of players that he's got to try to slip it through, and just slips it right across that line to Fofana, who faded off the back shoulder of his mark and was able to just sweep that in. But UC Santa Barbara doesn't waste any time, gets back on the other end, and here we see Ledoux coming through and just lays it off, and a lovely shot laced through there by Phillip and right at Hernandez. So we see, get another look at it. That good ball up there from Vindish, and Ledoux just gets around, man, gets around Hernandez there and right in, but no place to go really but at the goalkeeper, Miguel Angel Hernandez, for Phillip. And Portland then back on the other end, and it's Samori Powder with a good shot from distance, and nobody could really tell if that actually hit off the post or not, but I think we've all decided, production crew included, that did just nick off the outside of the post, but didn't miss by much, Powder. But great game so far.
Yeah, Ange, do you want to see UP change their style of play at all? We talked about them settling for 1 goal leads. We saw it against Sacramento State for nearly a whole hour. What do you want to see them do so they're not settling?
Well, I think they just really have to get back in and take the game to them. We saw them do that at the end of the first half, and they just need more of that.
When we come back, we'll get you the second 45 in stats between the University of Portland Pilots and UCSB. It's been a great one so far. I'm Adam Sussman. She's Angela Harrison. It's a lovely night in Portland, Oregon. Where would you rather be than the University of Portland's campus? A great game coming up. Second 45 still to come. Welcome back to Merlo Field. We're the conference favorites in the Big West and the WCC. The Portland Pilots in the WCC and UC Santa Barbara in the Big West are battling it out in a key non-conference matchup. I'm Adam Sussman, joined by Angela Harrison. And Bouba Fofana's goal 17 seconds into this one. The difference, we saw something not quite as fast, similar in the Sacramento State game. The Pilots are going to need to stay on the path and even be more aggressive, as you see on the stats.
Yeah, and I talked a little bit about the shot total, 6-2 for the Gauchos. Gave up that early one. Portland, one shot on goal. That's all they needed to go ahead in this match. And the Gauchos, though, coming back, putting some pressure, applying a bit of attack at Portland that they've really had to absorb. Not really a lot of room for them to go back the other way. But really here what I'm looking at is the fouls. 8-8 in fouls. We've seen a little bit of a physical game. Our head referee, our center official, Eunice Marikehi, has been really on the ball trying to keep the game under control. He's issued 3 cautions in this game so far, 2 for the Gauchos, 1 for the Pilots. And I think as UC Santa Barbara feels like they can get a goal out of this game, they can get a result here at Merlo Field, and Portland will really want to try to obviously keep that from happening. So I expect the next 45 to not only have some good soccer, but potentially get a tiny bit more scrappy, a bit more physical as Santa Barbara chases this game.
One stat we didn't mention, possession total 59% for UCSB, 41 for the Portland Pilots. The two teams changing sides. I almost said the Timbers. The Pilots now attacking from right to left, while the Gauchos attacking left to right. This match has dramatically cooled down in a literal sense in terms of temperature, but it's heating up for the final 45 of action. What do you want to see? We've talked a lot about the Pilots. Is there anything you want to see UCSB do differently? Because your crossing approach has looked dangerous at times, but maybe you want to see them a little more direct and passing centrally into the box?
Well, you've talked a lot about the height of Portland's back line and the fact that UCSB could probably out-jump them or outwork them to the height of the ball, but not a lot of driven balls in from the flanks for the Gauchos. So either start to drive those balls in low and press the issue, or, yeah, pull the ball back around and look for some shots in and around the top of the 18, just around the penalty arc.
Well, most starters back in for both sides. Muslim Umar is going to hang out with the starting 11. He did start last game against Sacramento State. He's in this place of Bouba Fofana.
And Fernandez just got the UCSB players going by him on the kickoff and kicked it off, and the referee called it back and asked him to redo it.
Excuse me, it looks like Bouba Fofana is still out there as he nearly commits a foul. It's going to be Muslim Umar on the opposite wing of him, taking the spot of Samori Powder in the starting lineup. Ladeau quickly picks up where he had some success in the first 20 minutes, but no success on that pass as the man, Lucas Gonzalez, did not make the run which Ladeau was looking for. Pilots looking to sit on the ball as they only had 41% possession. A chipped ball by Kunze. He's explaining to Muslim Umar he wanted him closer there. Open up, be a passing option on the flank. Thanks for joining us at Merlo Field on ESPN+. I'm Adam Sussman, joined on color by Angela Harrison. It's been a fun game so far. Pilots, the number 6 team in the country, looking to remain undefeated on the season. Only 2 games in. It's been 707 days since the Pilots have fallen on home soil. UCSB trying to change that, and they have a juicy chance right now. Yipa comes up out of nowhere. Here's Lucas Gonzalez, tiptoes inside the box, working on Kevin Bonilla, and Bonilla blocks it as ever for a corner kick on the far side. The Pilots coming off a 15-3-3 season where they went 11-0-1. That one being a draw, meaning they were undefeated at home. It's their best season since 1995. They beat Big West side UC Riverside, then Oregon State and Western Michigan at home to make the Elite Eight. Ladeau, take a corner 2 minutes in on the far side. Goes just outside the 6, a sky-high Jose almost dealt with it initially. The Pilots had to sweat it out there. Goes all the way back to Leroy Ziller. Vom Steeg says is the strength of this team. Vom Steeg said goalkeeper of the year in the conference, and anytime you start at the back with the goalkeeper that is established like he is going his last season, it's going to speak well for your defense. And Barr just the one shot on goal.
Absolutely, just gives your team a huge bit of confidence knowing the quality that they have behind them. If they make any mistakes, anything, the likelihood that your goalkeeper of that caliber is going to clean it up allows you to play with a bit more confidence and a bit more freedom.
Zeller, 6'5", German. His career stats: 46 goals against, 159 saves, which, do the math, makes for a 77 save percentage. 16 clean sheets with a record of 23 wins, 10 losses, and 10 draws. He's played and started every available game since 2021. Was at D2 Newberry College before coming to the West Coast. Kunze not given a ton of options. Babalai comes from that striker spot to help out. You're talking about how Babalai's role has changed a bit this year. He was someone that was able to feed off a name we haven't mentioned on this broadcast so far. Germain Senga is not with the program anymore. He, of course, graduated. He's someone who had 6 goals and 6 assists last year, and Babalai was a beneficiary of some of those 6 assists.
And again, with the departure of some of these high-profile, great play there, ball in there from Fernandez.
Here's Umar, has 3 white jerseys on him, fighting hard and tussling. We'll see who it's last off of.
Umar just has to, again, have a bit more situational awareness. Fernandez plays him in, but doesn't check both shoulders, and he's got 3 players collapsing around him. I think Fernandez wanted that ball back quickly off of Umar to get himself in at goal.
Umar goes to ground. Didn't seem like the strongest push from behind, but does well to earn the free kick. Kenny Viatoro accused of the crime.
You see Umar come in, get there, and just a two-handed shove up at the top, and not, as you said, not the strongest, but still, anytime you get your both hands up on the back, almost into the shoulders of the player you're defending, and they go down, that's likely going to be the foul.
Nava, who gets the assist 17 seconds into this one, had the goal 4 minutes in against Sacramento State. 1 of 4 in the WCC Soccer All Preseason team, was 3rd in the conference in points last year with 18. Can he grab his 2nd assist of the night? Does not there. Last off. Touch anyone, Ange? It doesn't look like it did. It's going to be out for a goal kick. Let's take another look at it on the replay.
It's a great ball in from Nava. Just overhits it a bit, and you just see that it's Kunze there on the backside getting caught up with Williamson and Vindish there. They do a nice job of containing him and drawing his attention really away from the ball. He started to get caught up in that 1v1 matchup with Vindish and stopped attacking the ball.
Viatoro working on Umar. Nick Fernandez is there, occupying the same real estate all night long as David Dankwa. Dankwa from Ghana, one of the shorter players at 5'6" on the pitch. At the start against Pacific, where he got an assist. Played 74 total minutes this year. While from Ghana, he did go to high school in Tennessee. Received a few nominations for Gatorade Player of the Year. He honed his craft with the Chattanooga Red Wolves Academy in North Carolina. So he's touched the Atlantic, touched the Pacific, from the continent of Africa, hailing from Ghana, and now playing at Merlot Field for UCSB. Michael Goling, who was subbed out for about the final 20 minutes last half, is back on the pitch, and he is subsequently holding his back as well. Goling looking for his first goal in Division I college soccer. Gauchos swiftly played it from right to left, and the direct ball up to Kunze goes to Portland's way. Neither side really favoring the quick passes in midfield. They're going for a more direct approach. And Portland on the back foot, you have to say, 6 minutes into the half. Sun has set, lights are on. Clive's Army loud as ever. Here's Ledoux, thinks about a shot from wide. Really good defending by Muslim Umar, the forward, still fighting for it. Out to Dankwa. Dankwa to Ledoux. Back on the near side. Too heavy for Dankwa. And what can Portland make of this? Here's Muslim Umar. Finds the real estate centrally. Has Babalai to his left. Fofana to his right. Fofana's fast, but not that fast. And it goes out for a throw-in on the far side.
Nicely done from UC Santa Barbara on the recovery. Buba Fofana, not an easy guy to keep track of, and really well done by Pablo Figueroa in there to keep pace with him.
Goes backwards to Sebastian Hernandez. Hernandez has had an interesting transition into the starting lineup. He'd mostly come in as fullback cover last year. And now, 5'10" or not, he's been the starting center back, as a clean sheet to his name through a game and a half. And he's not losing that spot if he keeps up stats like that.
And I mean, for me, 5'10" is not a short player. He's got a good size. He's got good stature back there. Not somebody who's of the opinion that all of your backline players need to be 6'4" or 6'5". You know, he's got to have a lot of mobility. He's got to cover a lot of ground. And he's got to be able to, you know, play the game and find those gaps when the Portland, when his team, when he wins the ball, needs to go forward. And he does a great job at that for his team.
Yeah, last year Angel only played 380 minutes, so he's someone, as UCSB have a dangerous play here. Miguel Angel Hernandez doesn't cut off the angle correctly the first time, but doesn't make a mistake to second. Going back to Sebastian Hernandez. He only played 380 minutes last year, Ange, so he's someone that probably benefited from that spring season as well.
Yeah, and you see this ball in through Ledoux from Ledoux to Hernandez, and it's Hernandez, the goalkeeper, getting the best of Hernandez, the Gaucho. Just reads it, slows up his run, and there's nothing that Hernandez, the Gaucho, can do, and ultimately leaves it for Hernandez, the Pilot, to clean up.
Pilot's still just sitting on one shot on goal. UCSB not doing much better, only had 2 in the first half. Both coming with power towards Miguel Angel Hernandez. Definitely sting the palms, but he didn't have to change his positioning all too much. Good overlap on the left side by UCSB. Cross towards the back post. Too high for even the 6'3" Michael Goling. He's going to be out for a goal kick. UC Santa Barbara, as Ange put it well, one of the most consistent teams on the West Coast under coach Tim Vom Steeg, who has been there since 1999 in his 24th season. They've been one of the class of the Big West, one of the class of the entire West Coast. They're trying to even it up here. 3 Pilots swarm the ball, and Buba Fofana lengthens his stride, gets on his horse, and is running up the wing. How much does he have left in the tank? Just not enough, as many UCSB players had to step on him. Talking about Santa Barbara, the Gauchos, 14 NCAA appearances, made it every single season from 2002 to 2011, made it again in 13, 15, 19, and last in 2021. More than half of the time, 8 of the 14 appearances, they've made at least the Sweet 16. In 2019, so just 4 seasons ago, they made the Elite 8. Last time they made the tournament in 2021, they lost 2-1 to UCLA in the first round. And I bet you many didn't know, they also were a national champion back in 2006. Ledoux into Goling. Goling dangerous here. Goes past a couple, still on his feet, down on the pitch now. Miguel Angel Hernandez brings it out to some breathing room. And now, still dribbling with it. He is teetering on scary. As I mentioned, in 2006, they made the Final Four. It was them, UCLA, Virginia, and Wake Forest. 2 from the West, 2 from the East. They beat Wake Forest in the first round, and then beat UCLA 2-1 in the final. Actually visited the White House the following year when they won in 2006.
Let's get another look here. Ledoux, just a nice little ball in here to Goling, and Goling comes through just looking for something there, and he's under pressure from Yepa and Umar. Just can't keep his feet underneath him. He's looking for a penalty, but I think that's a good non-call by our center referee.
It was definitely physical. There was shoulder to shoulder, but no arms even came up past, pec height. It's on your screen. You see why the Pilots earned a foul. Fofana does well. Gets a one-time pass and earns a corner after a touch. Throws out the thumbs up. He's someone whose speed is such an asset for this side. And practically most of the wingers are rapid on this team. Samori Powder has a good mixture of pace and power. Umar as well. Fofana, burners. First subs of the half gearing up for Santa Barbara. Nava. Subdued run up. He's going to take a second attempt at it. Nick Fernandez was flirting with the short option. Instead, it'll be launched into the Merlot sky, into the box, and closest to Yippa. Uses his blonde hair and whips at the ball, but it goes wide of the post.
Here we get a look at just a really good ball in there from Nava, right to the head of Yeppa, but under such pressure, all he can do is just, again, as we saw on the other end of the field for Portland, can't really get the ball down, can't really do anything but just try to redirect it, and doesn't get enough on it to whip it into that back post.
Pilots in search of their second straight win and moved to 2-0 on the season. They jumped up 7 spots in the rankings after beating Sacramento State 3-0 last weekend on August 25th. With their largest margin of victory in a home opener since 2004, when they also beat Sacramento State, but that time 4-0. In the match, you saw 7 different pilots make their program debuts. Nemo Philipp coming back into the game, a dangerous forward, hails from Hamburg, Germany. He's going to replace what looks like a pretty frustrated Nicholas Williamson.
Williamson didn't have too much time out there, got a bit at the end of the first half, and now looks about 15 minutes at the start of the second half, and wanted more from it. He definitely had some opportunities in and around this area, but Gauchos right now just can't. They're doing a lot of what Portland is, which is trying to get it wide and getting in here, and both teams have just too many bodies in the area to make too much out of these long crosses coming in.
Babalai's in trouble here. If he can get out of here with possession, it would be a win, and he does that, just dribbling it, and then he gets clipped from behind. No foul given. Dangerous time, and a shot more like a golf chip with the 5-iron goes high and higher past the bar. Let's see if Babalai gets fouled here.
Certainly looks there that it potentially David Dankwa just comes up over the shoulder, grabs Babalai by the shoulder, maybe has his thigh brushed, clip his hip there. But as we said, coming into this half, as UC Santa Barbara starts to chase this game, just expect more back and forth physical play from these two sides.
Of course, the clock does stop in college soccer, and fortunate enough, it's been, while some heavy fouls, especially in the likes of Nick Fernandez, it hasn't been a unfluid game. While the passing hasn't been as crisp as you've ever seen from the Pilots, it hasn't been a game that's been just littered with dirty fouls and plays that you don't love to see in soccer.
Right.
Here's Babalai, aiming for his first goal of the season. Muslim Umar dances past a couple. Slows down for a second. Lucas Gonzalez over there, and a smart ball by Yippa. Nearly found Bonilla. Right idea, just a little bit too far in front.
Yeah, right idea there from Yippa for sure, coming in there late. Umar again coming through, has to find some of those options earlier. He gets his head down sometimes, and as he's trying to dribble his way out of trouble, ends up drawing a bit more pressure and more players to him, and doesn't get the ball off his foot fast enough to keep it going quickly for Portland. But you see Yippa there, able to just pick that ball up from Umar and clip it out wide, trying to create something for Bonilla.
Oliver Yippa, who earned his first start of the season today, is unfortunately down. Number 12 is the jersey he dons. He's capable of playing in the back line or in the center of the park. He played 19 games last year. Only started 2 of them. Was a true freshman, granted. But the 2 games he did start were really important against San Diego and senior night versus Santa Clara.
We'll just see Yippa there kind of start to go down. Looks like potentially a cramp of some sort there.
He's grabbing his calf initially.
Yeah, no contact there to cause him go down, but potentially something a few minutes ago that's just now starting to seize up in his calf.
Yippa able to walk off under his own might. So Yippa will come out, not a like-for-like replacement, as Samori Powder comes into the game. Powder, a very interesting transfer for University of Portland. So much college experience, playing 3 seasons at Detroit Mercy. He played 38 games, 10 strikes, 7 assists. He's familiar with the area, played with Timbers U19 back in 2018. 2019, originally from Maplewood, New Jersey, is looking to make a home on the campus. University of Portland has done a good job so far. Two more subs getting ready to come in.
Number 29, Efikola Aurora on, replacing number 11,
Aurora
Mutsi Umar.
comes on for Muslim Umar, so Aurora will probably step into that midfield that Yipa vacated, and then we will see Samori Powder assume his role as winger. At least that's what I think, Ann.
We'll see. I mean, well, the way both of these coaches are playing this out right now, again, a lot of just very small formational changes with the changes in player personnel, just to see continually just trying to unbalance the other. So hard to say what some of these small adjustments mean right now.
Aurora out physical by Lucas Gonzalez. Gonzalez much his elder. To Nemo. Nemo playing it into too much space as Portland was able to get there first. A right leg stops a further break by UCSB. Good play by Sebastian Nava. Turn by Goling. Goling puts a lot of backspin on the ball and finds Aldana. Aldana's been quiet this half. Puts in an enticing ball there. All 30 yards away. Reset by Pacheco. Didn't start this game, but has been in since he got subbed in. It's Pacheco. Aldana. Closed down. Not well enough, and there's going to be the equalizer. Michael Goling, his first goal in Division I soccer. Congratulations to him. You have to say it's deserved for UC Santa Barbara.
And what a goal it was for the Gauchos. So much power on that. He just got up so well and put that back right down into the net. And great play out wide here. You see Aldana just puts that ball up. As I said, they've had a little bit too many that are floated in, that are lofted in, really hard to do something with. And here you see Aldana just drive this one in. So hard to defend for Portland coming the other way. And it's Goling just getting up and smashing that one through to level the game for the Gauchos.
It's an unsavable ball as well. Heads it low and into the opposite side, netting against the momentum of Angel Hernandez. And just as I say, Aldana's been quiet. He delivers up maybe the best ball of the game.
Yeah, just a terrific, and he just subbed on. He just subbed on just a few minutes ago and came on to the field. He started the game and then came off, had Villatoro replace him there for the last little bit of the first half and start of the second half, and he comes on and makes an immediate impact for the Gauchos.
This game has gotten a shot of life into the arm as both sides trying to take the W. Powder trying to grab it right back. Bonilla wants to get involved in the attack. It's usually a smart thing to do. 27.5 minutes to go. UCSB collect the momentum, but the Pilots have the talent to take it right back. The number 6 team of the country under some pressure. This is the first time they've conceded this season in their second game. They won 3-0 against Sacramento State last weekend. A shot from Nava off the back of Fofana. Fofana doing too much work inside the box. He gets busy inside his cubicle and gets it taken away. Here's Fofana again. Chipped through by Bonilla. Cleared by Aldana. Although it looked like Zeller wanted to come out and collect. There's a touch by Nava that was perfect, and the only option for UCSB was to chop him down. It's going to be a set piece. Call it 25 yards away.
And it's Fernandez winning that ball here, and as it comes into Nava, you just see the Gaucho player, looks like it was number 12.
It'll be Pablo Figueroa.
Yeah, just kind of chops in, comes in with a little bit, tries to block tackle, and chops down Nava. Boy, this Portland team is so interesting because UC Santa Barbara scores, and all of a sudden they start attacking with urgency that we haven't seen out of them. And you're kind of sitting there going, if you guys have been doing this the whole time,
yeah.
You know, what's happening here? So we'll be interesting to see now how, again, the equalizer for the Gauchos sets up the mentality for the Portland Pilots for the next 25 minutes.
It's like a boxer that needs to be punched in the face before they can start throwing the swings back.
Yeah.
We'll see what kind of punch the Pilots have right here. UCSB holding the line exactly 18 yards out. Ball sent inside off the head of Jacob Babalai. Does well to clip it. Goes out of play about 2-3 feet away from the near side post.
And again, just a great ball in here from Portland, and not enough on it, but man, you saw Samori Powder there. Just can't quite make anything happen there to redirect it back into play. Good opportunity from Portland.
What would you want to see different from the Pilots? Obviously just the aggression as well, but it feels like they have the most talent in this game in midfield. And it feels like they're surpassing the midfield 1 times too many.
Yeah, I think it's just what we've seen in the last 5 minutes is the urgency after conceding the goal. A lot more desire to kind of connect and come through the middle of the field rather than playing some of these balls up wide and just continually looking for these long crosses in. You see them be successful with some of these shorter balls. The goal they score is a ball in on the end line inside the penalty area, a low-driven ball across the penalty area that's across the top of the 6 that's easily finished by Fofana. We haven't seen a lot of those opportunities from Portland since that one was created. So just try to find some urgency to do exactly what they're doing right now.
Well, an hour apart, both goals in this game scored in similar real estate, and the crosses came in from similar spots. Nava's cross more on the deck, while Aldana's more in the air. But strong finishes by both teams put in the side netting. Sebastian Hernandez over to Bonilla. Does Bonilla have in store for the final 25 minutes? Nick Fernandez pings the ball out left to Kunze. Kunze has a good touchdown, more with the collarbone than the chest of anything. But does the pass meet the touch? It does, as Samori Powder's pace helps out. Who's going to be last off of? Linesman initially said Pilot's ball, and now it goes towards the way of the Gauchos.
Samori Powder, nice job to get up here, try to hold the play up, and he's under heavy pressure here. And yeah, I think that's the right call. Just couldn't keep it under his boot as he tries to drag it and shield it back in for himself.
Bonilla, a good cross as ever, finds Babalai for his first goal of the year. And the Pilots get back in the lead. And Babalai, you have to say it's deserved. The number 9, his first goal of the season. It had to be Bonilla.
Babalai gives him a point. Portland wins that ball, and this is what we've been missing right now. Fernandez whips this ball out to Bonilla so fast, gets UC Santa Barbara going the other way, and then Bonilla is able to just ping this ball right into the path of Babalai, who just nicks it down past Zeller. That is an incredibly difficult goal to score on a goalkeeper of the quality of Zeller. So again, great work from Kevin Bonilla, just puts it right on the dime that Babalai needed, and Babalai heads it down, doesn't miss from there often.
Babalai was awarded the number 9 shirt for the Pilots this year. He acts like it right there. His 14th goal for the University of Portland comes at a great time. And that's an example, if you head the ball where it comes from, Zeller probably saves it. He goes a difficult spot, lower left to 90. I mean, it was an unsavable ball even from the 6'5" Zeller.
And again, this is just what I was talking about. You know, this is Portland comes back and scores within, 10 minutes of UC Santa Barbara equalizing. So you kind of have to look at what Portland's been doing for the last hour or so since they scored and said, this is what you are capable of doing regularly. It shouldn't take the other team, equalizing you to give you that shot in the arm to keep going forward.
After they conceded and it went 1-1, they looked like the number 6 team in the country.
Yeah.
Well, now it's a matter of, is it more of the same? Because, 23 minutes is different than, 2.5 minutes left. Are they going to shut things down, or are they going to keep playing like they're playing? The substitution of Michael Hatcher coming in will be interesting where he plays, because he is listed as a defender, but we saw for the end of the first half he was playing up as an attacker, using that big body. He's someone that can pop up with an opportune goal or two like we saw last week. Also has a second goal in his career last season in a 5-0 win against Cal Poly.
And Hatcher coming on, and this wasn't necessarily too much of a surprise. After that goal, Babalai had jogged to the sideline and had a few I won't say words, it makes it sound harsh. He gave some communication to head coach Nick Carlin-Voigt and then goes down with what looks like a cramp or something in his calf, and Hatcher was there immediately ready to replace him.
Babalai heads to the bench. Hatcher comes on, and Hatcher will be that central striker. An interesting career positional arc for him if this is a permanent role for him. Miguel Angel Hernandez signals the purple and black shirts forward. A strong kick with the right boot. Makes it well past the halfway line. Nava acrobatically has a good touchdown. Fofana slows things down, has a great touch as well. Gives it over to Samori Powder. Powder looking for his second goal in as many games, and it's blocked away. Nick Fernandez is not going to let the ball chip over him. He's fighting hard for it. He's on a yellow card as well, has to be careful. Bonilla, a spot where he's dangerous. What a ball over, and that's a second assist for Bonilla, and another goal for Buba Fofana. That pass could not have been more on the money, and the finish matches the excellence of the ball.
You see all the kids running to go into that, celebrate with Bonilla, celebrate with Fofana, high fives on the rail. And you just see Lucas Gonzalez really trying to make something there, but harassed into conceding, and it's Bonilla then back the other way. Just another pinpoint ball from Bonilla, very similar to what we saw last week, right into Fofana. But Fofana, what a turn. That ball's coming into his back foot, and he's able to just to feint one way, pull that defender into his back foot area, which was his right foot, but then clip it around into his left and create that space for him to go through and ultimately finish past Zeller. Terrific bit of skill there from Fofana on that control.
Buba Fofana had one goal last year, Ange, and today he's got two high-quality, high-class goals. Didn't have a start last year, has 2 starts of the season, 2 goals and 1 assist already.
Certainly rewarding the confidence that Carlin-Voigt has shown in him with the minutes that he's getting. And again, we talk about, the Portland preseason, it starts 2 weeks prior to the first game, but really it starts last spring.
Bonilla again, this time finds Nava. Nava turns, has it on his right foot, gives it back to Bonilla. Can Bonilla get his goal? It gets deflected and out for a corner kick. Bonilla the metronome. Is the metronome of this attack from right back.
Well, I said in the game, and I think I got my words backwards, but look at Bonilla, plays this ball in here and then keeps his run going. Nava just a little slick back heel. Bonilla just can't believe he couldn't get that one in, but the success of the Portland Pilots is going to hinge a lot on what Kevin Bonilla does for this team and for himself this season. And as Kevin Bonilla goes, so go the Portland Pilots.
Bonilla back-to-back 2 assist games. Nava goes towards the back post. A Pilot first towards it. Looked like it was Jose almost to it.
Nava, another good ball in here. Nothing Zeller can do to get there, but can't quite see who that was trying to knock that down. I think it was Fernandez coming in there and just gets underneath it, can't do anything to get up over the top of it and bring it down.
A defensive substitution for UCSB. Andrew Kaminsky goes by Drew, a freshman from Long Beach, California, 6'3". He's a center back with a lot of potential. He's one of the few freshmen to get minutes on this team. He certainly has the Division I college build already. Got the start and played 67 minutes in the 4-2 win over Pacific, played 24 minutes in the opener against Oral Roberts. And if he has a strong final 21.5 minutes here, he could be earning the start next game on Monday against UNLV. Meanwhile, for the Pilots, they will face Utah Valley on Monday. Ange and I will be on the call for that one. Be sure to tune into ESPN Plus if you can't be at Merlo Field in person. As we speak, Utah Valley is actually in Corvallis facing the Beavers right now. The Wolverines of Utah Valley started the year 1-1, beating Kansas State.
And I don't know if this is much of it as a defensive replacement as is an attacking replacement. He's coming in to play in this holding center mid role, and we're going to see USB probably go to 3 primary backs and try to push one forward into attack with.
Nearly finds Hatcher as the diving header.
With Kamienski trying to rotate in and out of that midfield and center back role to give them cover.
Nava works over to Fernandez. Takes a one-hop right in front of Zeller. and picks it up off the grass. Kaminsky gave it off to Aldana and then takes his right back spot. Under 20 to go. Pilots up 3-1, courtesy of goals from Powder and Fofana with the brace. Here's Fofana, a good turn. Takes it towards the byline. Over to Goaling. Settled down by Kunze. Who has played the entirety of the contest. So has the entire Pilots back line. Good through ball. Can Fofana get a third? Fofana ball rolls once. Still has it. Still has it. Taking his time. Patience ever so much. And cannot finish for the hat trick.
Just a bit too much there from Fofana. Again, such a skillful player, so smart looking at where he's going to slow down and speed up and really just try to get the UCSB players to go to ground. But look at this ball in from Nava. It leads him so well. And Fofana right in there just knows that if he just hits the brakes right there, there's not really going to be a lot for his marker Figueroa to do, but then ends up holding on to it a bit too long, gets a bit too clever with it, and allows the Gauchos to recover and block that.
Yeah, Zeller did not make the save. He had Zeller beat for the most part. It was a Gaucho defender that stayed on the line. Samori Powder earns the throw-in.
Substitution for the Violets. Number 14, Timothy Innan on, replacing number 7.
Tim Innan comes in for Samori Powder.
Substitution for the Gauchos. Number 18.
Talk about college experience. We talked about Powder having the experience with 38 games played. How about Innan? 62 with 4.5K minutes as well. 18 goals, 9 assists in his collegiate career coming over from Northeastern.
Such a tremendous amount of experience and leadership that he brings into this side. And as I said, I really enjoyed watching him in their preseason game against Seattle U. Just brought so much to this team and not only how he's able to hold the game, but just push things along as well.
All CAA second team in 2020, third team in 2019 and 2021. His best scoring season came 4 years ago in 2019 with 7. Trying to replicate that in Pilot colors. Edge of the box, Miguel Angel Hernandez. Can he reach it? He does. Bonilla, oh, that was almost scary. As he loses it out of his palms, it's going to be out for a corner kick.
And that's good pressure there from the Gauchos, from number 10, Lucas Gonzalez, who I horrifically misidentified earlier in this half. Man, terrible, terrible stuff for me. But Gonzalez does so well to get in there and make things bothersome for Hernandez, and ultimately ends up coughing it up out of bounds.
UCSB fighting hard to get back in this one. Across over Miguel Angel Hernandez, still in play and still inside the 18. Ledoux takes it down, tries the quick turn, and here comes the pace again.
That's just such a great read and great patience from Bonilla there. Ledoux, such a good, clever player. Thought he had Bonilla, but Bonilla, watching the ball the whole way, stood him up and gets Portland going back the other way.
Nava was ready to go back the other way, but did get clipped from behind. It's going to be a foul. No yellow card. 16.5 minutes to go. It's been a fun game on ESPN Plus when it was 1-1. Heart skipped a beat. UCSB had the momentum, and then 2 quick goals after that. As Ange said, once they got punched in the mouth, it was time to punch back, and they did so twice.
You just see Williamson. Williamson just gets his shoulder up and kind of gets his wing up, throws Konsa over him as they're trying to challenge for that ball, and AR1 signals for it.
Williamson, the Dane, helps up the German, Julian Konsa.
Good clearance from Zeller, but you just see there, you see the wing come up from Williamson and just pushes Konsa right by him.
Utsumi, a good header. UCSB not out of it yet. Here's Ledoux. Strong challenge from behind. That could be bad for Bonilla. It's just going to be a yellow card just outside the box.
Should be just a yellow card there. But what a terrific ball from Gonzalez. Holy smokes. Plays it right in there. He's very frustrated that this isn't going to be a penalty for his team. But you look at where Bonilla actually clipped him and got the tackle. The momentum carried him into the penalty area. But what a terrific opportunity there. And stifled from Bonilla. Williamson plays this ball in. Here's Gonzalez. So much room and so much time to dribble. You see Ledoux just peel out there. What a tremendous ball, and it's Bonilla that comes through. It is outside the penalty area. It is just a yellow card. Bonilla saves an opportunity there, but creates another one here in a free kick, and we'll see what the Gauchos can do with it.
Is this almost too close for a free kick?
No, I mean, the way the technology of the soccer ball, the skill of the players now, I mean, years ago when I played, probably, but you know, now the skill of these players is so good. They practice these scenarios in their free time. This is the fun part of training for them, is just setting up the dummy wall and hitting this kind of shot over and over and over and over again, or even coming up with a trick play, something that's going to, you know, create an easy opportunity for a teammate on a pass.
Miguel Angel Hernandez's time to shine if they put it on target. It's like the two hovering around it are Ledoux and Lucas Gonzalez. Gonzalez left-footed. All Big West second team last year. And there goes a yellow card for Tim Vomsteeg.
Might not be for Vomsteeg, might be for one of his assistants, but absolutely upset about that call potentially not being a penalty, potentially not being a red card, but
set piece routine goes on target off the near post, second chance put back in, and that's a second goal for UCSB. That all happened real fast. It was a set piece out of the training ground, and it worked to near perfection.
As I said, these are the kind of opportunities and things that are so fun for these kids to practice. They'll stay after for an hour just practicing these situations and not opting against the direct shot there.
It's a nice goal.
Going for something different, and just see Ledoux roll it there for Gonzalez. Gonzalez flicks it behind him, and what a save and a shot there. Hernandez is able to get a glove to it, but ultimately it's Nemo Phillip coming through and putting the next opportunity away. Portland believes that was likely offside, but I'm not seeing it. I think there was just a ton of chaos in that penalty area, and that's a great finish and a great push forward from the Gauchos. What a great little set play.
It was a really good save too. That's not going to be a save he remembers, because eventually there was a goal 2 seconds later, but good play by Miguel Angel Hernandez to at least stretch out initially and stay alert to the trickery by UCSB. And 15.5 minutes to go, and we're back in a shaky, scary territory.
Nava gets the foul there. 2 hands in the back of Goling. Hard to disagree with what Eunice Marquehi saw there.
Bonilla goes shoulder to shoulder, wins it strong, and keeps the ball in play. Bonilla 2 assists, but not forgetting his defender as well. Isaiah Barber getting ready to come on. Got his first ever college minutes last game in a 4-2 win over Pacific. Comes from Beaumont High in California. 6'3" midfielder. Takes out,
it's Aldana subbing out again. Another kind of attacking but defending sub. Really, Santa Barbara really feeling like they could get something here in the last, another one in the last 15 minutes at least.
Aldana, all kinds of frustration when he exited the game.
Gauchos with 10 players in Portland's half of the field, but this is what happens when you do that. You're open for the counter here.
Great win back by Pablo Figueroa. It was a 3-on-2 momentarily with Hatcher to the left and Nava to the right. Samori Powder, who, if this game stayed at 3-1, probably would have not, who knows, but he's coming back into this one. There's also still a Pilot player down in the attack. And when it gets to 3-2 and your heart starts racing a little bit as Bouba Fofana is the player who's down, you think about that Fofana chance a little bit earlier where he was extremely patient.
Oh, absolutely. And it's Fofana who's down here, and Portland has to be very cautious about how they play this last 13 or 14 minutes. If they go to just sit back and let UCSB attack. Adam, you and I watched some games last season where they held a very kind of tenuous lead, and at times they just sat on it and just tried to absorb, and it came back and bit them a few times where they either conceded and tied or conceded and lost. Well, they conceded and tied last season in games that they shouldn't have, that we felt that they shouldn't have. And so Portland has to be very cautious because, as we've seen, they are capable of going forward and scoring goals at will. And, you know, right now, for me, in the last, we're still have a lot of time left on the clock, 14 minutes left in this game. You know, the best defense is a strong attack and a strong offense. Keep the ball and keep going at this UCSB team and keep the ball out of your own defensive half.
Pilots from last year certainly know that well. Scored 51 goals, which is the most by the Pilot side since 1995. It also just marks the 10th time a Portland team has scored 50 goals in a year, ranked first in the conference and fourth nationally, just under 2.5 goals a game. They've hit that number today, but can they get a fourth and really put this game to bed? Like they thought it was momentarily when they were up 3-1, but a Philip Nemo goal has turned the purple shirts worried. Lucas Gonzalez in a space he likes, pokes at it, through ball, and Miguel Angel Hernandez takes a quick first step to get there.
And it's Gonzalez again. We said it. I said at the beginning of the game, he's going to be the one that's keying the attack. Finds Ledoux. Ledoux just a nice little flick off the outside of his boot there to Williamson, but Williamson just can't get around the end of it before Hernandez comes and sweeps it away for Portland.
Junior forward Salvador Aguiar, who had some moments of shine in the first half, getting ready to come in for the final 12 minutes or so. As the weather gets colder, more shirts come off in Clive's Army. The rattier they get and the closer the game it is. Pacheco to Ledoux. Hatcher is trying to find Enan, who loses out in the aerial battle. Good play by Pacheco. Over to Gonzalez. Trying to find Ledoux, and cleared away by Kunze. It's hanker down time for the Portland Pilots. 5 in the back, it looks like. Ledoux. The Big West favorites trying to show for their conference. They took down WCC side Pacific 4-2. Can they take down the class of the WCC, the Portland Pilots, and the 6th ranked team in the nation? Under 12 to go. Ledoux, who's been active in the final third, brings it onto his left foot, goes to the near post, and cleared away smartly by Sebastian Hernandez. A deep clearance, trying to find Hatcher. Over to Enan. Aurora is in the match as well, the freshman midfielder. Remember, Yipa got hurt earlier. That brings some more questions in the defensive solidity of the midfield. Aurora trying to show he can fill that hole and more.
Well, it's going to be Fernandez that drops in next to Aurora. Aurora actually got some really good minutes against Sacramento State last week in that position and showed pretty well for Portland. So it'll be interesting to see his development as the season goes on and what kind of depth he can provide at this position for Nick Carlin-Boyd.
Philip Nemo. Bodied off the ball. Good defending by Enan. Aurora goes out to challenge. And Pacheco finds his way to Ledoux inside the box. Well worked. Cross inside the box. Angel Hernandez isn't there. Portland wanted offsides on Pacheco. It was not called. It's going to be a throw-in on the far side. Muslim Umar is getting ready to come in.
That ball skips past a slew of Portland and Santa Barbara jerseys out to the far sideline. Good play there from Gonzalez again into Ledoux. What a combination those two are for this team. Ledoux just a nice little ball and just a good chip pass, and it's off the kneecap almost or shin of Konsa.
Our player to watch this game, Lucas Gonzalez, may need to watch from the bench for the remainder of the 10 minutes. As striker Salvador Aguilar comes in as a more direct option, but all in all, how'd you feel about Gonzalez's night?
He's been terrific. He's, as we said in the start of the game, the one to watch. He's keyed the attack in so many critical moments for Santa Barbara, and has just been the one that wants the ball, wants to be on the ball, and you love a player with that kind of confidence. He wants to be the one that his teammates rely on.
Corner coming quickly. It's inside the box, back to Ledoux. Ledoux. And then the head of Michael Goling goes wide with not much menace behind the ball. Jacob Babalai prepping to come back in. And he takes out.
Gonna look at the replay in here. It's Goling, yep, just wide. Trying to redirect now. Too many bodies in his way to go back the other way, but can't quite get it down into that inside post. Ennin will take a rest, has been very good in his minutes tonight for Portland.
Certainly has to play a different role with the Pilots than he did at Detroit Mercy, where he was the guy. You know, he was the Brendan Cambridge there last year. He's going to take some getting used to, but the more he excels in his role, the more his minutes change, and maybe his role changes as well. Babalai trying to be a pest and stop the build-up play from UCSB. Goling, who had the recent header that we just saw on the replay. His pass goes into space, and Bonilla happy to let it roll out. Bonilla aiming for Babalai, and he gets hit in the upper thigh and out of play right in front of Clive's Army. I believe it was going to be a foul first, though, looked like, Ange.
Yeah, Ledoux just comes in and chops Bonilla down right there, just gets his right leg in and just chops Bonilla's progress forward.
Pilots hold a narrow 3-2 lead. A brace from Fofana and Samori Powder. The goals in this one for the Pilots. The 2 for UCSB. 1 coming early in the half by Michael Goling, and 1 more recent by Nemo Phillip. It adds entertainment. It adds stress levels if you're a home side supporter. It adds ambition if you're a UC Santa Barbara fan.
And we've talked about the experience of Tim Vom Steeg here and just the kind of program that he's built. We talked about him, you know, has played so far 8 of his 10 newcomers, has played 22 of 32 of his roster. And in the final minutes of this game, he doesn't have his first choice center backs out on this field right now. He's got different players out on the field. He's got different rotation. He's taken off Gonzalez, and he's really getting some valuable critical minutes to some players that could prove to be key performers for this side as they push to win the Big West.
Lost out on the NCAA tournament by a game last year, losing by just 1 goal to UC Riverside in the Big West Championship. Trying to have their non-conference performances propel them into conference play, where they were picked to finish first. Bodies flying about Merlo Field. A lot of aggression, and you need to be both sides right now. Ledoux puts on the burners to reach the ball from going out of play. Still on the far side. Reaches centrally with Mack. A backheel ball to Ledoux. Ledoux keeps it in play, and Bonilla sliding challenge to get rid of it. Quickly closed out by Nava. Hatcher's going to have a turn chasing. Now Umar. Umar gets beaten. This could be trouble. White jersey's going forward, and that shot was a little bit closer than I think Miguel Angel Hernandez would have liked.
And it's Umar coming in to defend, just gets sold a little bit too easy here on the clip right there, and comes in and doesn't quite keep himself moving, and it's a great opportunity forward for Pacheco.
Bouba Fofana, good to see, who will likely be the man of the match, back out there. Samori Powder gets a yellow card. I think there's some confusion on who was actually coming out. Powder thought it wasn't him at first, then it wasn't, now it is him. As Nick Carlin-Voigt eventually makes the final word. It's going to be a yellow card that's not completely all on him.
Powder go right back to the halfway line and will likely come on.
Number 7, Samori Powder, number 82.
Bonilla turns upfield, shoots the ball in the right direction. Zeller. Kaminsky. Kaminsky has not had to do much defending since coming in. He's usually the one quarterbacking the back line and starting these breaks. Pacheco, dangerous touch. This ball is still in play, and a sliding challenge last second is going to end up in a corner.
That's Isaiah Barber with a heck of a job running in and competing for that against Jose Olmos.
It's not an easy touch.
Look at this bring down there by Barber, and Olmos comes in and just sees exactly, knows that ball's going to go low. There's not really much that Barber can do with it off that touch in the direction that he's going. And
dangerous hits off maybe the woodwork, or just wide. I'm surprised he didn't go out of play. Kaminsky resets things with Pacheco, who subbed on for Aldana but has been a great fullback so far. Back post.
As I said, a lot of these subs that Vom Steeg has made has looked defensive in nature, but really have been more for a more proactive counterattack.
2-0 break. Here is Babalai. Babalai has it on the right boot. It trickles off Zeller, and that's the game. 2-0, your University of Portland Pilots.
That's the danger of getting yourself set up for the attacks that the Gauchos had, is that it leaves you wide open to a counter like that. And as Portland goes to clear this ball, so many Gaucho players committed forward, and it's Jacob Babalai with approximately a 60-yard run forward. Not a lot there that Kamienski can do, and Zeller does his best, but is beaten ultimately by Babalai. Babalai's not going to miss on those opportunities.
7 goals through 2 games for the Portland Pilots. And Babalai gets his goal there. It's now 2 goals for Babalai, I believe, and 2 goals for Fofana.
And another yellow card issued to the Portland bench, or somebody on the Portland bench.
Yeah, I misspoke earlier where I awarded Samori Powder a goal. That was last game. His header was very similar to the one that Jacob Babalai had today. Both identically beautiful balls from Bonilla. So now Babalai has a brace on the day, and Fofana has a brace on the day.
Second of the match, second of the year, in the 86th minute, Pilots 4, Gauchos 2.
Gange, we gotta get you in the locker room and start saying play like you're 1 goal down, because the Pilots are excellent in that situation. Once they go up 2, it's different, but I understand with only 15 minutes left, you have to hanker down a little bit more. But all in all, what do you make of the Pilots' performance today with 3:35 left to go?
Well, you know, for Santa Barbara, there's still a lot of game left. This is a lot of opportunity, and we've seen them come and clip some goals in against the run of play for Portland. They've had a lot of the run of play that they didn't score on, and I think the Santa Barbara team is still out here looking for some more goals. So Portland can't celebrate right now. They have to see this one out, because for all intents and purposes, Portland could have and should have had a shutout tonight, but have let Santa Barbara back into this game time after time again. So we'll see what the next 3 minutes hold.
Headed away well. Jose Olmos and Nick Fernandez amongst the chaos. A square ball central, and goes further out right. Nico Phillip. Nemo Phillip goes down, gets back up, cross inside, off the side netting. It's a chance, like you were saying, Ange. Those are the chances that say the game's not over.
Yeah, and that's Williamson there. Look at this great battle in here from Phillip. Keeps himself going, and the ball gets clipped in there, and it's Williamson with another dangerous chance. And the Gauchos right now out shooting Portland 15-7. Huge advantage in corner kicks, 10-4 too. So I love the fight from the Gauchos. This game's not over.
Williamson with a headed chance moments ago.
It's Boyd Curry on the good challenge there with Williamson.
Boyd Curry from Auckland, New Zealand originally. It's a transfer from St. Mary's, capable as a center back and a fullback. He's someone that will provide a lot of defensive versatility and cover for the entirety of the 2023 season. Familiar with the WCC, Ange, you can say that for the Leafs after spending 4 seasons with St. Mary's.
Yeah, a lot of players on Portland's roster. Nick Carlin-Voigt picking up a few transfers in and out of WCC schools.
About Cash Oladipo from Gonzaga as well. With Boyd Curry, he was an everyday starter there. Since 2019, started 46 of 53 games, playing over 4,000 minutes. Actually started on September 30th here at Merlo Field in a game that he lost, but the Pilots won 2-1 last September.
Wiley Trujillo, another good ad from Gonzaga, a good Gonzaga program that Carlin-Voigt was able to bring in.
Barber. Shut down by Kunsa and Muslim Umar. And Kunsa smartly goes up the line but keeps it in play. Half a minute left to go at Merlo Field, where the Pilots are up 4-2. It's been a shaky game at so many points. And that will cure the shake. With 20 seconds left to go, Miguel Angel Hernandez grips the ball well, will place it on a 6 and boot it away, as the horn will likely sound just after. Clive's Army jumping up and down. Fans come to their feet in applause as the Portland Pilots go 2-0 to start the season. The number 6 team in the country was threatened many times by one of the classic teams on the West Coast, UC Santa Barbara. But not enough tonight, as the final score from Merlo Field, Portland Pilots 4, UC Santa Barbara 2. And just get your final thoughts from this game.
It was a great matchup, as we've been saying all night long. We knew it would be. Portland, we've said it, number 6 team in the country. I want to see a better mentality from them, going a goal up 17 seconds into the game, to keep it going, keep the gas on, and just keep going after it, and don't let the team back in the game. Don't let a goal go in motivate you to keep going forward again. But overall, Portland showing their grit and the determination that it takes to remain in the top 10.
I'll say this, Portland showing their clinicalness in this game as well. It's not like they were littered with chances this whole game. Many teams in a contest like this, you give them 5 high-quality chances, they scored 4 goals. So many teams may only score 1 or 2 after that, so you like to see that from the Pilots' clinicalness early on in the season.
Yeah, and it's a great early test for them to have the mentality to fight back the way they did in the areas that they did. And again, we talk about Kevin Bonilla and what a critical player he's been. And here's Nava. We'll get a look at all our goals. And again, Nava getting the show rolling with a great ball into Fofana. Portland goes up 1-0. This was 17 seconds into the game, and then for the rest of the first half, it was all UC Santa Barbara primarily. But into the second half, here's Bonilla with a pinpoint service into Babalai, and Babalai just nods it down into that near post. Nothing really Zeller can do there. So that's the clinicalness that you're talking about from Bonilla and Babalai, where he's not going to miss if Bonilla is putting it that pinpoint on him. Fernandez out to Bonilla again, and another great pass, and just a great bit of skill from Fofana. What a great little finish from 15 yards out, on his back foot on the turn, and slides it, rolls it in, and Zeller can't believe it that he just got beat so close. And then UC Santa Barbara showing the fight back, getting into it, but now here it is, the Portland Pilots 3-2 up. UC Santa Barbara going for it, but Portland counters. Babalai seals it 4-2.
Some of the individual stat lines from this game: 2 goals for Babalai, 2 goals for Fofana, the starting striker and the starting right winger, and also 2 assists. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. Ange and I will be back here on Monday at 7 o'clock when they face Utah Valley, who's currently facing off against Oregon State and Corvallis. And they hit the road for the first time next weekend. An early game against West Virginia. That's going to be at 1 p.m. East Coast local time, 10 a.m. here on the West Coast. And they come back home. Denver's a tough opponent on the 15th. And CSUN not too easy either. Nick Carlin-Voigt, year after year, scheduling stronger and stronger non-conference.
Well, and you have to really make sure that your team is ready, because anything can happen in conference, as we've seen in the WCC, especially on the men's side over the last 3 or 4 years. Whoever's predicted to win it likely won't win it, and whoever's there's gonna be a dark horse coming out of nowhere to really contest. So this is a good challenging schedule for his team to get ready for conference play.
Well, if you like Pilots soccer, you got a quick break, and we'll be back on Monday. Big thanks to our entire production crew headed by Riley Clark. A seamless broadcast like we always have here at Merlo Field. It was a fun game, 4-2 the final. Who doesn't like goals one side or the other? Final scoreline, as I mentioned, number 6 Portland Pilots put up 4, UC Santa Barbara put up 2. I've been Adam Sussin. Big thanks to Ange Harrison. We'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Get home safe from Merlo Field. We'll talk to you soon.